Yo, what's going on, guys? So we are during the day 5 of the league, and as you can see, I finally was able to buy Mageblood. And I'm saying finally because I did buy it yesterday, so during the day 4, and I still have around 40 divines, and I have even more in some of the items that I'm trying to sell, and I think they are worth together somewhere between 50 and 100 divines. So if I did not buy these items, which I was investing into, I think I actually was able to buy it somewhere during the day 3, maybe a little bit earlier in day 4. But that doesn't matter. I guess I have it now. That's all that matters. And as you can see, my slash played, I have played for 3 days and 11 hours. So it is pretty long amount of time, but I guess if you want to make this amount of currency, you have to play a long time. So in today's video, I want to talk about exactly what I did, how I farm my Mageblood, and this time around I did it a little bit differently than I normally am doing it, but I still use some concept from last league. So let's start talking about it. First thing I want to mention is how I made my initial currency that I needed to start the strategy that I did to farm the Mageblood. And also I'm not gonna talk about the build in this video, I did that in the last one, so if you are interested in the build that I'm playing, make sure to check it out. So what I did during the day 1 is I reached level 60 and then I started doing heist. So when you do heist at level between 60 and 70, you can just do demolition and lockpicking contracts. You can buy them from Wakano every time you level up. And I made around 50 to 100 chaos. And I did buy Enlighten level 1. And I think this is a very smart idea to buy Enlighten level 1 very early, because it costs around 30 chaos. And then you can put it on, and when you're gonna be progressing through the maps, you're gonna just slowly level it up. And eventually you're probably gonna need Enlighten at some point, so you might as well just start leveling it up early on. So I did level up to level 2, which is what I needed right now. It is level 3, but I actually don't even need level 3. But that was my first investment. And the second investment was buying the +1 power charges Grand Spectrums, and I actually still have quite a lot of them, so these actually didn't even help me that much, but I did sell 4 of them. I think I had around 20, and I was buying them for between 10 and 40 chaos, and right now, as you can see, they are somewhere around 130. I am slowly starting to sell them. I think they will still go up, but it is a pretty good investment early on, but it is more of a long-term investment. +1 frenzy charges usually go up in price quite fast, and these ones still go up in price, but very, very slowly. So on top of buying the investment things, I also did buy some gear just to start mapping, nothing too crazy. I think I had 5 link and some rare items just to cap my resistances and get some good amount of life. And then I started progressing my Atlas. And with the Atlas, I just went straight up for the Wandering Path, so I can progress my tiers as much as possible to reach red maps as fast as possible. And then I did Bestiary. And the reason why I did that is because in red maps, Bestiary at the beginning of the league is much better in white maps, because you can fight Kraykick Vassals and Farik Tiger Alpha, which are worth between 1 and 2 divines each. And I did find a few of them, which made me enough currency to transition to this version of the build, which costs around 5 divines, and this way I was able to finish my Atlas, kill most of the invitations, most of the endgame bosses, and I had full Atlas completed. At that point we were during the day 2, and that's when I started doing the strategy that I farmed Mageblood with, and the strategy is Einhar Bestiary memories. At first glance, these memories look very simple. You just buy them, you run them, you kill beasts, and then you sell them for profit. But there is actually a lot you can optimize when doing them. But now let's start with the basics. So how do these memories work? So you can buy them on trade right now for around 250 to 270 chaos, and then you use it when you go to the Einhar. Well, first you actually have to go to your Atlas and use memories on a map. And depending on when you use it, then it's gonna branch out to the connected maps. And this memory is branching out to 2 next maps, so in total you do 3 maps per memory. So I did experiment with it a little bit, and for these memories right now, for me the best spot is Beach, because when you use it on Beach, it can only branch out to Strand, which is also a pretty good map, and then to Graveyard, which is also a very good map. If it goes this way, it can go to Bog and then Cemetery, and both of these maps are also pretty good. The only issue is Malformation, which is pretty bad map, but so far I wasn't able to find a better spot, as here you get most of your maps are as pretty good layouts. The only one bad is Malformation. And remember that the first map you are always gonna encounter, which has to be preferably the best, and then the last one you're not gonna encounter as often. You basically have 33% chance to get it, so you don't encounter Malformation too often. So what you do is you use the memory, and then it branches out, and here unfortunately I did get Malformation, but still I got two pretty good layouts. Then you go to Einhar, you open it, and you get map for free, so you actually don't have to prepare map. And you don't have to roll this map, you don't have to do anything with it, you just activate it, you go in, and you have to find two beasts which are replaced with harvest beasts. And then when you complete this map, you actually don't even have to kill the boss, you don't have to do anything, you just find these two beasts. You also will have a lot of other beasts which you can kill if they are pretty good. And then when you do the second map, there is going to be 3 red beasts, and then there's going to be 4 beasts in the third one. So in total you're gonna find 9 harvest beasts, and that number is pretty important because there actually is 9 different harvest beasts, which actually makes calculating the profit very easy. So what you can do is you just check prices of every single beast. So we have Vivid Watcher, Vulture, Aberrath, we have Wild Bristle Matron, Brambleback, Hellion Alpha, and then Primal, Syscaller, Crashclaw, and Rex Matriarch. And the best beast is Wild Bristle Matron, which costs right now 94 chaos, and then Watcher, Vulture, Brambleback, Aberrath, Hellion Alpha, and Rex Matriarch are between 10 and 60 chaos, and then the only two that are pretty bad are Crashclaw and Syscaller, and this one is also around 10 chaos. So blues generally are the worst, purple are the best, and yellows are also very, very good. So you mostly just hope for purples and yellows. So how do you calculate the profit? Well, you just grab prices of all of the beasts and you add them together, and then you take that price and you reduce it by price of the memory. So that's what I did, and right now prices of all of the beasts together are 308 chaos, and I'm not including Crashclaw and Syscaller because I am just not selling them. They are not really worth selling, and not that many people buy them. So 308 chaos minus, let's say you buy memories for 260 chaos, and your profit is around 50 chaos per memory, which to be honest is not super crazy, especially since you have to do 3 maps. But you have to remember that you can run them pretty fast. I was able to do more than 10 of them per hour, and also during the first 2 days of doing them, this profit was much higher. I believe it was between 80 to 100 chaos per memory. So it is worse right now, but it's still pretty good. And also there is a lot of way to optimize it. But first, before I talk about that, let me show you an example of how do you run them. So again, you just start by opening the beach. Then once you enter a map, your goal is to just find the 2 harvest beasts, but also if you find any of the regular ones, you can kill them. So this one, for example, if you know how to recognize them, you can skip them. If you don't know, you just kill all of them. So I know that this one is pretty bad beast, so I'm not gonna kill it. This is the Crashclaw, which is worth around 5 chaos, so you could also skip it, but I decided to kill it. And we move forward. Here there is no beast. There's another one here. I know it's underground, so it is also one of the worthless beasts. Here is another one that you don't have to kill. You can still kill yellow beasts if you want to use them yourself or sell them on trade. I decide to kill them most of the time. You kill this one. Here is the another one. And let's find one more beast. And here is the Vivid Aberrath. And we have one more yellow beast. And map is done. And then once you're done with that map, you go to the Einhar and you can open the next map, and this one is going to have 3 beasts. Then once you're done with the second one, you can open the third one, and this one is going to have 4 beasts. Now we are done with 3 maps, so let's look at what we found. So we had 2 Crash Claw, which I'm not including in the results because I'm not selling them, they are not really worth it in my opinion. 2 Rex Matriarch, which go for 13C each. 2 Aberrath, which go for 8 chaos each. 1 Sis Scholar, which I'm also not selling. 1 Watcher for 88 chaos, and 1 Bristle Matron, which is 94 chaos. So in total we made 224 chaos, and like I said, memory cost 250 to 60 chaos, so in this map we actually lost money, and this is why you shouldn't do these memories just one by one. I would highly recommend doing a lot of them, because profits that I'm talking about here are averages. So this time around we got pretty unlucky. We got 2 Crash Claw, 1 Sis Scholar, 2 Aberrath, which are also pretty cheap, and 2 Matriarch, which are also pretty cheap. We didn't find any Bramblebug, which are like 25 chaos, Helion Alpha, which is 40 chaos, Vultures, which are also 40 to 50 chaos. So we mostly found only the cheap piece, but we still found 2 expensive ones. But if we didn't find, let's say Bristle Matron, let's say this one would also be like a Sis Scholar, we would lose quite a lot of money. And sometimes I would do like 4 or 5 memories without a single Bristle Matron, and sometimes I would find 3 in one map. It happens rarely, but it still happens. So remember, you have to do a lot of them per hour. But that was just the basics, and we can optimize this strategy quite a lot to make even more money. Starting with beast crafting, so using the beasts that you found yourself instead of selling them. So here you can type Primal, Vivid and Wild, which is going to show you all of the beasts that you find in these memories. So now let's go over them, and let me tell you which I am selling and which I am using myself. So first one is the Crash Claw, which gives a free use of each map crafting option. This is actually pretty good if you want to use them later, the map crafting options for some other strategies. So I am just saving them right now. I'm not selling them, I'm not using them, they just sit in my menagerie. Second one is 1 Atlas mission per beast, which is the Primal Sis Scholar, and this one I'm also not selling, and this one is going to actually give you white missions, because we are doing white maps. You could do this strategy in red maps to get red missions, but I don't think it's really worth it. I'm mostly just removing these beasts. I am not selling them, not using them, they just are being removed. Third one is the Aberrath, and this one is actually pretty good. This gives you 1 Shaper, Elder or Guardian Conqueror map. So instead of selling this for like 8 to 10 chaos, you can use it. And remember, every single rare yellow beast is 2 chaos on TFT. Some of them you can get yourself from the memories, but if you're gonna do a lot of these crafts, you're probably gonna have to buy them. So you have to remember that always to every single craft add 6 chaos for beasts when you're doing any calculations. So this you can sell for 8 chaos plus 6 beasts, that's like 14 chaos. And if you sell sets on TFT, Shaper sets go for around 15 chaos per map, Elder 18 chaos, and Conqueror more than 20 chaos. I think it's like 25 or 30, maybe even more. So this is straight up just guaranteed profit using it yourself, as long as you use a lot of them and you then sell them on TFT in sets. So I would highly recommend using them if you do a lot of these memories. Next one is similar, Synthesis Unique map. This is the Rex Matriarch. You can sell them for 13 chaos. I yesterday sold a bunch of Synthesis map sets for 20 chaos per set, and you also from time to time get Cortexes, which go for 60. I actually think even more right now, maybe like 80 chaos. And now we are moving on to some of the more weird ones. And first one is increased level on non-corrupted awakened gem by 1. So this one sometimes is worth it, sometimes it's not. As you can see, I don't really have them because I actually am selling them right now. I used to use them, now I am selling. This market for this piece is very volatile. Every day you have to check what are the prices, is it worth selling them, is it worth using them. It changes a lot. Right now I am selling them, earlier I was using them. So unfortunately, you just have to go to trade, check price of every single awakened gem at level 1, then at level 5, and then check how much you have to spend to level it up to level 5, and then is it worth to do it. But like I said, usually I am selling them. Then the next one is reroll the awakened gem. This is the Vivid Water, and this is very, very RNG. They cost around 90 chaos. You can buy very cheap awakened gems for 20 chaos. Most of the time you will get another awakened gem which costs 20 chaos, but from time to time you will get something like multi-strike which costs 14 divines, so you can make good profit. But this is a very, very big gamble. On average it should be profit, but again, you have to use a lot of them to just get your average. Next one is real synthesis modifier implicit. This is a very weird one. You can also gamble with, let's say, rolling rings. Maybe you will get some plus charges, maybe some crit multi or percentage stats, and then you can sell them. Or you can sell them on trade. Right now, I'm just saving them. I'm not really using them, not selling them. I will see what I will do with them. And even without selling them, I am still making a lot of profit. So that should tell you how good this strategy is. And then we add meta mod, which is the Wild Bristle Matron, which is the most expensive one. This is one that I am actually selling for 94 chaos, and this covers for most of my investment into the next memories. But you can use it if you know a little bit about crafting. You can probably find some use for it. If you are smart, you can figure it out and then make even more money this way. And last one is real, a water eye modifier, and I am actually also using it. So I am buying water eyes for around 30 chaos. I don't care about modifiers, I don't care about anything, I'm just buying a bunch of them. Then I am rerolling, and if I find something good, like 1 divine plus worth, I am selling it. And I actually did hit multiple between 3 and 5 divines worth of water eyes, but most of them, they will be around 100 chaos or less. So I would say that farming the memories, just buying them, running them yourself, and selling beast afterwards is a first level of optimizing the strategy. You're gonna make decent profit, like I said, around 50 chaos per memory on average, but it's not gonna be too crazy. If you want to, then you can enter the second level of optimizing, which is using the beast yourself through the beast crafting, and it can be pretty advanced and also RNG, but it's nothing too crazy, and I think everyone can do it, so you can make even more profit. How much more? It's gonna depend, I'm not sure exactly, but it's definitely way better than just selling the beast. And now let's talk about the third level, which I 100% know is not going to be for everyone, but I still did it, so let's talk about it here. And this one actually has 2 steps. So let's start with the step 1, which is the group play. So when I was streaming, just playing the game, farming some memories, and I did what I was talking about in here, just farming the beasts and then using them to beastcraft. Some people started asking me in Twitch chat, can they maybe join me so they can also make a little bit more profit? And it doesn't cost me anything, they can just join. And in case you don't know, the map owner, so the person that opens the map, gets 100% chance to capture the beast, so he gets all of them, but every other person that joins you only have 20% chance to capture each beast. So I figured they might as well join me and they will get a little bit profit. But as a streamer, you actually are not allowed to just give stuff away for free. So what I did is I told them to pay me 10 chaos per memory, which is more like a symbolic price. But if a lot of people join me, so maximum up to 5 people, it is 50 chaos extra for me per memory, which is pretty good. And if you look at the profit right now, like I said earlier, you make around 308 chaos per memory. If you get only 20% of that, you're gonna make around 61 chaos. And if you remove 10 chaos that you have to pay me, that's 50 chaos per memory, which means you are actually making around the same money that I am, which is pretty good. But you also have to do way less trading. You don't have to buy as many memories, you don't have to sell the beast later or use so many beastcraft, you're gonna get way less of them, but you're also gonna invest way less. So if you do it in a group, it is additional profit for the map owner, like I said, because they will pay you. And obviously, if you are not a streamer, you can go to something like TFT. You probably can find maybe some rotas there. Maybe instead of having people pay you, maybe everyone can just grab one memory and then you do rotation where everyone just opens up one. There's multiple ways of doing that. And also, if you just have a friend you're playing with, this is an excellent strategy to just farm with your friend. And especially if you have more of them, you can just do it together. You can maybe put your money together, then one person do beastcrafts. If you don't like beastcrafting, you can just run memories. Maybe third person is trading. So there is a lot of stuff to optimize there. And one last thing I forgot to mention is that when you are running the maps in group, make sure that every person is around the beast when you capture it. Because the range of capturing beast for everyone else in the party is around 1.5 screen. If you are the map owner, so the person that opens the memory, you actually have a map wide range. You don't have to be near beast, but everyone else has to be near the beast. Which brings me to the second part of this step, which is something that I actually wanted to try out for a very long time, and also a lot of people actually has been asking me about trying this, because it's something that not that many do, so you can't really find any information about it, and that is using 2 characters. So I used to farm a lot of simulacrums in the past, and the way I would do it is I would equip a lot of gems and I would level them up and then sell them once they are leveled up. So I always thought, what about making a second character, which would be an aura bot, and you would just leave it AFK in simulacrums, and it would have equipped a ton of gems and it would just level them up, so you would level up even more gems. But that would require a pretty strong characters to handle 2 player simulacrums, and also you would have to equip it with a ton of defensive gear, which would require a lot of time investment and money investment, so I never really did it. But for this strategy it looked way simpler. And also, in case you are wondering if playing on 2 characters is allowed, yes, it's 100% allowed, as long as you are playing them separately, you are not mirroring any input, obviously you are not using any bot or anything like that. You actually can play on 2 clients at the same time on 1 PC. If you want to play on more, you actually have to use more PCs, but for this particular strategies, playing on more than 2 would actually not even help you. 2 is maximum. So let me now explain what I exactly did. So around the day 2, I realized that I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time farming memories. So if I'm gonna do that, I might as well try out the 2 character version early on. So if I, let's say, do 100 memories, if I do 50 solo, and then I realize, okay, let's do it with 2 characters, I just wasted 50 with just doing solo, so I did it very early on. I did spend, I think, around 7 hours preparing the second character on my second account, and I ended up doing exactly the same build so that I don't have to buy a different set of items. And I'm not gonna use 2 of the characters at the same time to kill beasts, because obviously it's pretty impossible to just actually play on 2 of them. One of them is going to have to be AFK. So how that exactly works? So the way you want to do it is you want to open the map on the character that you are not going to play with. Because like I said earlier, that character has a map-wide range. So you can leave that character at the beginning of the map, and that character is going to get all of the beasts. And then you have a second character which is going to run around, kill beasts, and if you are playing in a party, you're going to have 4 other people that are going to run around with you, and with 5 people you're going to kill beasts and get 20% chance to get beasts. So it's actually not crazy amount of extra profit. You can 100% just do what I talked about earlier, just farm it yourself and then do beast crafting yourself, because your second character is only going to get 20% of the beast. But if you think about it, like I said earlier, you are getting around 50k of profit. All of the other people also are getting around 50 to 60, so you are actually doubling your profit at the end. So it is pretty good way to make extra money. And then also obviously these beasts you can also use to craft with them. So that was pretty much it. Obviously there was a little bit more optimization, like when to hold on to the beasts, when to sell them, when to maybe buy some other stuff and then sell it later. But that's very specific, so I'm not gonna talk about that here. So now let's just do a summary. So what I did is I started with farming some heist, then I moved on to red maps, farmed some Krakic Vassals and Pharik Tigers Alpha, made some initial currency, waited for some memories to show up on the trade. Once they did, I did like 1 or 2 just to try it out if it's worth it, and then I leveled up a second character on my second account. Once I did it, I started inviting some people from our stream, and we ran Bestiary in 6-man party. But also sometimes I wouldn't have full party. Most of the time it would be like 2 extra people, so it wasn't all the time full party. And this way I was making extra profit from a second character, and then I used all of the beasts, well, not all of them, most of the beasts that I farmed, I used them myself to craft with them, and this way made even more profit from things like water ice, gem rerolls, guardian maps, and synthesis maps. And actually, synthesis and guardian maps, I did save all of them up until I decided to buy Mageblood. At this point I had multiple sets of them, and I was able to sell them in bulk for more profit, and also they gained in price during this time. And like I said earlier, I still have quite a lot of remaining pieces to sell, things like vultures, and I also invested in ground spectrums, so I still have quite a lot of other money. And if you ask me what I'm gonna do right now, I am probably gonna farm more of these memories, and a lot of people actually are probably gonna say that, hey, now that after you made this video, they are gonna go up in price and it's no longer gonna be worth it. And well, if that's going to happen, just observe the market. Probably if memories are gonna go up, then beasts are gonna go up, so it's gonna be worth doing it again at some point. That's just how always it works. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.